You have spent hours perfecting your resume and finally landed an in-person interview. It is completely normal to feel your heart racing as you prepare to walk through that door. Every interview has two layers. While discussing the work you can do, the interviewer is watching to see how you handle yourself. This animated funnel shows that attitude gate in action. If it stays closed, your skills checklist never reaches the evaluator. Phrases that sound honest and simple to you often land quite differently in an interviewer's ear. We call these phrases red flags. They are specific answers that trigger an immediate sense of worry in a hiring manager's mind. When an answer sets off one of these alarms, the conversation about your skills usually ends before it even truly begins. The first thing an employer looks for is whether you actually want this specific role, or if you are just looking for any open door. This concern often surfaces when a candidate says, "I just apply everywhere." While you might say this to show you are working hard to find a job, an employer hears that you do not have a particular interest in their company. It is a similar story when a candidate admits, "I didn't really check what your company does." Skipping research tells the interviewer you are looking for any generic paycheck. It suggests you aren't curious about what the business actually builds or how they help their customers. Employers are looking for a dedicated team member who is excited about their specific mission. Training a new hire takes a lot of time and resources. Because of that investment, companies look for people who genuinely want to be there for the long haul. Let's look at one of the hardest moments in any interview, explaining why you left your previous job. A common red flag in this moment is saying, "My last manager was the problem." Even if your previous boss was difficult, placing all the blame on them suggests you might struggle to take ownership of your part in a conflict. When you complain about a past leader, the hiring manager sees you pointing a finger of blame at your history. They worry that when things get difficult down the road, you will eventually point that same finger at them. Showing that you can talk about past friction with diplomacy tells an employer you are ready to handle the ups and downs of a new role with a professional mindset. Beyond how you handle conflict, employers also watch for how you will interact with the people around you every day. That brings us to the fourth red flag. I don't really like teamwork. Many roles allow for independent work, but most modern businesses still rely on communication to succeed. Admitting you dislike collaboration suggests you might struggle to fit into the wider system. Near the end of the process, the interviewer will usually ask what questions you have for them. The final red flag is simply saying, "I don't have any questions." If you treat the interview like a one-way interrogation, it implies you aren't very curious about the opportunity. Asking about the team or the daily routine shows you are already thinking about how to contribute. It turns the meeting into a real conversation. Choosing your words carefully ensures the employer sees your professional maturity as clearly as they see your experience. Avoiding these red flags shows that you are focused, responsible, and ready to be a helpful member of a new team. Because long before an employer decides if you have the right skills, they are deciding if you have the right mindset. Your answers show your attitude,